Hello, everybody. Hopefully it doesn't crash this time. All right. So just a couple notes of things I've done. Let's look at here. I made all the animation sprites into multiples by 100. That is going to be our standard size. So that every pixel is 1 for 1. We ran into a little issue where the pixels are not for 1 for 1. And what I mean by 1 for 1 is when you move these things together, they were not the same size. Our attack was inaccurate. So just kind of going over some stuff and watch it over if you guys have time. Don't feel pressure, but this definitely helps the team out. It's a 100 by 100. Everything is 100 by 100s. Everything here. We were not doing automatic and we're splicing them to grid size just so that the animations can play consistently and they all have the same frames. You want to use grid size, not automatic, essentially. The things to do for when you're editing sprites is make sure to do a no filter and no compression. No compression. You can also select all of them and do none, like so. So it's mass. It's really quickly. If your sprites are too small, you can always make your thing bigger. That way, did it work? Yeah, it's fine. That way, the golem especially, we're having difficulties with this. Show you real quick the movement. So this is the best way to do it. So if you look here, we're gonna lock this real quick. Lock. And then do a project here. You can double click this to make it smaller. Drag it out here. With your golems, especially the movement because it's so wide, if you do a 20 100 and plus apply, look here, it'll be blurry. And the answer to that was you simply scale up and press apply. Now it's crispy clean. We're animating by frames of 8, so make sure all animations are played by 8 instead of like 50. Make sure that is standardized across. So like idle, smash, this movement, this idle is 60. Make sure it's 8. If your attack is just 2 frames, just extend it to 4 frames. You can also alternatively do something like this, I think. That's also fine. Something like this is also okay. Yeah. So this is 4. I just prefer to do this to make it standardized across. Just make sure it's half and half the way I'll do it for the attacks. If that makes any sense. You just want to have enough duration so that the attack actually plays instead of something like, I don't know, like this. That'd be really quick, so don't do that. These are more small stuff. I'm not sure how many frames the attack and stuff should be yet. Ideally, on the end of this, we want to spawn the attack. So on hit, you'll spawn the attack, and you'll stay in the attack position for a little bit, and then you will go back to idle. Is something you have to do. The golem works for now, but it's still missing some stuff, and it needs more stats for it. It needs more stats for its stings, so it's not copying off the door, because it's right now, when you press play, it moves too quickly. A little bit. But overall, it looks nice. Everything is scaled up by... Puddles is a little big. I wonder, because this is no longer compression, it's doing something weird. Let me look at my dwarf, because the dwarf shrunk. Just a little bit. Yeah, it shrunk a little bit, because it's none. And it's 100, which is fine. But it feels a little small compared to puddles now. Let's see. It's about the same size. Yeah, it's about the same size actually. So when I press play now, the camera might be a little too zoomed out after this, because you definitely want it to be zoomed in a little bit. Let me zoom in the camera real quick. On the player. Under here. You make it like 5, I believe. There you go. That should be much better. And make things less small looking. So you want things to feel big and intimidating. And the screen size right now is not very good. But this is much more valid. I feel like the dwarf still feels like it's a little too big. The knockback on it needs to be done. There's a little bug with the animation That's not the worst, and it spawns a lot of these little things that you can pick up. The death has a weird block barrier to it, something to further test out. We're experiencing a lot of animation glitches, so I'm going to write some stuff down to debug. I have Trenton working on sound effects right now, so these animations will have sound effects to play, and we do have a background music that we will be testing out. As we all see from Jared's scene, the stuff are working quite well. We're still needing to use the abilities to relics, and once we have that, along with a couple more of abilities such as the machine gun and absorption dash, that should be enough for Tinkerfest. In fact, plenty enough for first Thursday actually. So before why say anything else and reiterate on things I said, I know it's a bit of a ramble fest. Tinkerfest is coming up really fast. There's a lot of things to check. Animation wise, attack needs to be balanced real quick. I don't know if we'll get everything on time and done polished for Tinkerfest. I want to make sure everyone stays ready and motivated to keep working. But it will be a bit tight to get this build out. I am just rambling on a little bit, but if anyone feels stressed at any moment, please let me know. This is I'm still doing quite a bit on my end, so if anyone wants to take some work from me, I would like to divvy it up. It takes time to explain to you guys what I necessarily need, and I should do a better job at that. But overall, the animations are done. It's animated by 8s. These should be a pixels of 100 per unit with no filter and no compressions for everything. There's quite a bit of animation bugs going on for the attacks, and sound effects are not keyed in yet. That will be my priority. I also need to make a dash ability so it works for the playtest and you can dash around. After that, it would just be balancing stuff. I got Jared working on the relics, so hopefully that will work. The last thing to touch up on would be just picking up the abilities in the beginning, and that should get us ready for Tinkerfest. So there's still quite a lot of things to check off on our list. We're on our final sprints. We're almost there. And everyone's doing a great job. Keep at it. All right. Thank you so much for listening.